Good morning. I would like to start to acknowledge and to thank the kind invitation to participate in this very interesting conference. I regret that I cannot be with you in Serbia, but my work in the European Parliament has been very active nowadays in the field of energy. So I ask for your understanding. The topic of my short presentation is the role of research, innovation and technological development in the European Union energy policies. We have since the 2006-2007 the first strategy on energy and climate change that had main three components: the fight against climate change, the competitiveness of the economy, and the third component, the security of supply. We have to say and we have to confess that we have been pushing the first two components, the fight against climate change, promoting renewables, also taking attention to the questions related with the competitiveness of our economy. However, the security of supply and the plans that were in the initial strategy that was approved in 2008, it was delivered by the Commission in 2007, but approved by the Council in 2008. There were many plans for the security of supply, namely on the gas diversification of sources and ways of transit, countries of transit, that didn't happen. Europe, along since 2008, become very dependent on one supplier, mainly on the gas. So we end up some months ago when the troubles between the war between Russian and Ukrainian start, we have imported 45% of the Russian gas. So we need to rethink all this strategy and put more emphasis on the security of supply. So we are at the moment, since we have started this college with President von der Leyen as President of the Commission, again, climate change and energy were the main topics, what is called the green transition together with the digital transition, but all the plans had to be in certain way re-evaluated since the war and the invasion of Ukraine started, in order to take attention to the security of supply. So the main policy that the Commission has is called the Green Deal, and the Green Deal is like our growth strategy that is based on the green transition. This Green Deal is a strategy, was not a directive, was not a law, but after the Green Deal we had for the first time a law, what is called a climate law. And this climate law has as objective to have European Union that reduce the emissions by at least 55% by 2030 and becomes neutral in 2050. And I draw the attention that because we have this climate law for the first time, this is not a target, is not an objective, is something that member states have to accomplish, because it's a directive, is a law. So there will be consequence if this is not, these targets are not achieved. So this makes all the difference compared with the previous strategies and the previous work that we have been doing at European level on energy and climate change. So after the climate law, we had the need to look at the different sectors and to develop directives for the different sectors that match this ambition of the 55% reduction for 2030 and the climate neutrality for 2050. And there is a package, a very famous package, at least famous for the Europeans, that is the Fit for 55, exactly, that has 17 new proposals, some directives, some regulations, that the most, probably the better known are the revision of the Renewable Energy Directive, the revision of Energy Efficient Directive, but there are also directives for the aviation, for the maritime transports, for the cars. So in certain way we are looking at the different sectors of the economy, and we have directives for each of these sectors. For example, there is an tremendous increase of ambition on the Renewable Energy Directive. We voted this week at the plenary the proposal of the Parliament, and now we enter in negotiations with the Council, but the proposal of the Parliament is to increase the target for 2030, that was before 32% of renewables, to 45%. And I draw the attention that 2030 is very near in terms of engineer and deployment of new projects. We don't have a lot of time in order to, we need to work fast and to achieve these targets. Again, there is an increased energy efficiency target, and for the first time the energy efficiency target is a binding target. Before was an indicative target, and now is going to be a binding target, so the member states will have to fulfill these targets. And we in the European Parliament, we think that one very important component to fulfill these targets is that we are equipped with appropriate technology, with technology that are affordable, that are appropriated, that can deliver, can help to deliver these targets. We also believe that some change of behavior is necessary, but we are not apologizing a completely different way of living of the Europeans. We want to develop the technology that will allow the Europeans and the people in the world to continue to travel, to continue to be mobile, but in using technologies that are that have less impact in the environment. So you see the importance of research and innovation in all of this. And we have to tell you, and you know, that for most of these sectors we still do not have the technology available. I was talking about aviation. We want to continue to be able to travel for different parts of the world, to travel inside Europe, that our students continue to enjoy the Erasmus, that go to study in different places in Europe, and they can go back to their original place to see their families. So we need clean aviation, and clean aviation, we still do not have the full electric, large size electric planes. We don't have yet a full size hydrogen plane, so we need to develop that. And our targets are very close, so 2030 is extremely close to us, so we really need to invest massively in research and innovation in order to develop this new technology. And I'm giving the example of aviation, but this example goes to different areas. In maritime is the same. Even the long distance, the tracks, we really need to develop. We still do not have technology to allow the electrification of these means of transport. The other sector that requires many research is the sector of the energy-intensive industries, steel, cement, ceramics, glass. We do not have the technology that will allow that these industry sectors will continue like we want that they continue in Europe, but the emissions from these sectors will be compatible with the targets that we have set to ourselves. So, and it's not only applied research that is required, it's still a lot of fundamental research that is required, and scale up, pilot phase, demonstration, but some of these technologies are not even yet at the pilot phase. So we are promoting a lot of research and innovation, a lot of research, even basic research, for example, in the areas of green hydrogen, how to produce hydrogen from renewables, how to improve, how to lower the costs, how to improve the scale, to increase the scale, because we believe that the hydrogen is a vehicle, energy vehicle that can help because it will be easier to store than electricity. So for that we have developed our research and innovation program that is Horizon Europe, that has a strong focus on the energy and climate change. That is divided mainly in three parts. And the first part is what we call Pillar 1. It's mainly devoted to fundamental research with the Marie Curie grants, with the European Research Council projects that are projects of large dimension and that finance fundamental research. We have the second pillar mainly devoted to the collaborative, more industrial, so more applied research, where we have a set of public-private partnerships covering most of these areas that are required for the green transition. We have, for example, the green aviation, when we are pushing and trying to develop, putting the industry and the best minds, the best university centers and research centers, put them together, for example, to develop the plane that will, for 2030, 2035, that have reduced emissions. So we are working on the electric plane and not on the hydrogen plane, but also in the new materials, light materials, for the aviation. We also are working on we have another partnership on hydrogen, clean hydrogen is called, to develop all the technologies, the research and innovation and the technologies that are required for aviation, for hydrogen. We have another one in the rail, is called Rail Europe, to develop the new generation of rail, and we are having some in the digital, for example, development of microprocessors of ships that are so important. So in certain way are enabling all these developments in the energy. We also have one on the bio. So the new generation of biofuels, biomass is a bio-based public-private partnership that is also very important for this transition. So we are convinced that investing in research and innovation, investing on the whole chain of innovation, having consortia that involves the key actors in industry together with university and research center is the way that we can accelerate the way to achieve the targets without a drastic change in our way of life in Europe. We are also pushing for synergies with the national funds, so that the national funds also joins the efforts together with the European funds, and they work in the same direction in order to go faster, that we join the efforts to go faster, because we really need to pull everything, the public, the private, and in the public, the European level, the national level, and the regional level, that we all do an effort to achieve these targets. Of course, now with the invasion of Ukraine, we are forced to speed up our efforts. So it's not a reason to stop, it's a reason to speed up, to go even faster, because if we invest more in renewables, if we do this transition, we will be less and less dependent of the Russian gas. But we know that we will need to use gas for a transition period, a large transition period. So we are also improving the use of gas, and we are diversifying the suppliers of gas from different parts of the world. It's very important that we at the same time that we are developing all these new technologies and all the fundamental research that is the base of these technologies, we also prepare a generation of engineers, technicians for this green transition. And it's something that we are very much pushing, is for the education and training, and call the attention that the energy and the green transition is a very important area, and an area with future, and in order to attract more young people to study in these areas, including women. We have very few women as engineers that work in the energy field. I'm a mechanical engineer working on energy and climate change and sustainable development, but I have the experience that along my career I had very few female students, so we need to make an effort to attract more women, because otherwise we are neglecting 50% of the population, the potential population to study these fields. So all these are tasks that we really need to put forward in a very short time, but we are very committed, and we have all the incentives to do it. And I wish you, this is the message that I want to pass, and I wish you a very interesting conference, and I just hope that soon I can be able to visit Serbia and the region, all that region of the world that I know well, and I had a lot of collaboration in my research work during my career. Thank you very much.